Radio check, radio check. We should be live. Okay. Okie dokes. We are live on YouTube and on Twitch. Brilliant. Okay. Hope you guys are all doing well. We are 30 minutes away from the start of Sprint QUALI 1. So, yeah, first sprint weekend of the year, second weekend of the year as well. So nice and early on in the season. And the teams haven't really had much time to prepare. They've had a few setup changes here and there. Drivers have got used to the circuit, and then they've done it just a little bit extra, and then apart from that, not a lot much more. So Arvin Lindblad definitely was short on time. He's only done 6 laps so far, and the rookie has never raced before at the Shanghai International Circuit, so it's going to be an interesting weekend for him to see what he can do in sprint quali. If he still out-qualifies Liam Lawson in this one, he may have some good things ahead in his future, but we'll see how that plays out for him. Yeah. So yeah, hello folks. Hope you're all doing well. I think we might also be pulling a slightly more European audience right now for the sprint quali, given that it is now 7 a.m. here in the UK, nearly 8 in I'm sure it's 8 in like France, probably in Germany as well. I'm not sure of the whole time zones, but yeah. Yes, ORF is going live in about 20 minutes or so. And I guess in New Zealand and in Australia it's quite a nice afternoon, evening, yeah. All right. So what do we really have happen in FP1? Nothing sort of crazy major or anything like that, right? We had Russell and Anthony at the top by, again, a significant chunk, right? So it looks like they've still carried their pace over from Australia, but it seems like McLaren are a bit more in contention compared to where they were in Australia last weekend. So, a few more things dialed in, a few more lessons learned from Australia, and they'll be looking to implement those into the car for China. Then, as for Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, 5th and 6th position, not too shabby there. Charles Leclerc is about half a second quicker, but Hamilton did quite a few more laps on his soft tyres. So, yeah, I think those laps were on slightly different ages of soft tyres. So, not too much to read into there as of at least right now. And then the Red Bulls really weren't looking so good. It was 8th position for Max Verstappen and 13th for Hadjar. And, we did see some relatively low track temperatures at the start of the session, right? It started out at 11 degrees track temp. It ended up getting to 27.7 degrees track temp. So it really warmed up over the course of the session. And we know that the Red Bull is relatively bad on its tyres compared to the other cars. So the overheating issues that you may have are going to be a lot more prevalent as the temperature ramps up. So, we'll wait and see what the temperature is when the sprint quali session starts. If it's quite high, then the Red Bull is definitely going to struggle a little bit, especially through sector number 2, because you will warm up your tyres pretty thoroughly through the first 2, 3, 4 corners, and then you don't really have much of an opportunity for them to cool down all the way up until turn 11. And then you've got that very, very long straight where they cool down again. But that's more than, half the lap where your tyres are super hot. So it's going to be an interesting one for the Red Bull team. And we'll see if they do any sort of tyre management. Lawson has out-qualified Lindblad 100% of the time. Oh, yeah. But I guess, I probably said it in the wrong way, but I was referring to the fact that Lindblad finished ahead of Lawson in the race. So we'll see if he can sort of continue on from there. Where can I watch the Quali Live? The Quali Live will be on ORF, folks. ORF. And rate the Australian Grand Prix from 1 to 10. I would put it at a solid 8, really. It was a pretty good race, lots of action, first race of the season. We had a classic Ferrari blunder. a few other things as well. But like, I think it's good. Did Ferrari remove the Macarena wing? I will. I'll double check. I mean, we'll see. You know, when they come out onto the track, I will confirm, and I will either remove that or change it. What is ORF? ORF is a Austrian TV broadcast. So if you get Proton VPN using the link in the description, and then if you get Proton VPN using the link in the description, connect to an Austrian VPN, then you'll be able to watch the coverage. So that's how that works. I'll just pop the link into the chat now. Do Williams have a shot? I mean, Williams maybe have a shot of getting through into Q3. I don't think of pole position though. I think that's a little bit more unlikely. Okay. Can you predict where Max will be in this year's championship? I mean, I just don't really get the whole thing with these predictions, right? Like, I have as much idea of you guys as you guys. Sure, I have a bit more sort of knowledge about Formula One, but you know, I can't see the future or anything. So, whatever I say is relatively meaningless. But I guess if you want an answer, like, I think Max will finish, I don't know, fourth. I'm from the future. Anthony locks up into the penultimate corner. Well, I think that's quite a common place to lock up. To be fair, because the drivers come out of turn number 11 with a lot of load on their front left tire, and then it just isn't as grippy. And well, it's a huge braking zone as well for turn 14. So. Yeah, huge braking zone, and locking up is always going to happen in those sort of situations. We may see some rear locking as well. We did see some rear locking in FP1, drivers struggling with that because the teams are trying to ramp up the engine braking significantly, but the drivers are already on the limit of grip for the rear tires, which means that when you try to ramp up your energy recharge even more than what you already have, you end up getting rear locking and you spin around, and there's really not much you can do to save rear locking. So the drivers are, the teams are going to have to dial it back in terms of their energy recovery stuff. F1 Gamer, did you sleep for 2 hours after FP1? No, I've just been awake, to be fair. So I've been awake since I think it's 2 a.m. maybe. Yeah, but it's alright. I'm feeling alright, and I think I'll probably get some more sleep once sprint quali is complete. Where can I watch F1 live? It is ORF, folks. O for Oscar, R for Race, F for Ferrari. If you Google that with an Austrian VPN, you'll be able to find it. Okay. The straights after turn 11 and... Wait, let's have a look here. The straights after turn 11 and turn 16, are we expecting a huge speed drop? Yeah, we will be expecting a huge speed drop. As a bit of a reference point, you know, coming down this straight from turn 11 in towards turn 14, from turn 13 into turn 14, you will probably see the drivers hit around top speed at this point here, and then you'll see them start derating and slowing down through this speed trap specifically. So the speed trap numbers aren't going to be the most accurate thing in the world, but you know, that's sort of what we expect to see. And the same thing down this straight, where the drivers will charge up their battery. They'll deploy their battery up until about this point, and then they'll start recharging as they enter into turn 1, 2, and 3. Has quali started? No, it is. Still got 20 minutes left. Will the sprint race start at the same time as FP1? No. The sprint race starts half an hour before when FP1 started. 7 a.m. there. Indeed, it is. Indeed, it is 7 a.m. So around about the normal time that I wake up anyway. So feeling all right, feeling good. Mhm. The rear Macarena rear wing takes longer to close compared to the front wing, so it makes the rear lock up Hamilton spin out in FP3 due to this. I don't think that's the reason he spun out, because he definitely would have closed his rear wing before that. Does that make any sense? The front wing closes before. I could partially see it, maybe. You can have a little bit more front loading because of the front wing shutting before the rear wing, and that will take away a little bit of the load from the rear. But I think the effect from just braking and you shifting all of your weight to the front has a much bigger impact, more so than the front wing squeezing the rear wing, squeezing the front of the car down a little bit. Yeah. Is the Macarena one the one that flips? Indeed, it is. Does anyone know why turn 9 and 16 are in different colours? It's yellow and orange. It's because turn number they just had yellow flags at the end of FP1. I think they were sending marshals out onto the track around here, so that'll get cleared up once the session starts. Why are there 11 teams? Because Cadillac joined this year. Yeah, they joined as Formula One. So we've got a new team on the grid. How do you do from Cheshire, London, England? Yeah. Oh, pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm doing all right, actually. Hope you are doing well. Learning that Fred Vasseur came up with a name makes me not want to call it, even though it's a fire name. What's wrong with Fred Vasseur? Fred Vasseur is a pretty good team principal, I think. I don't think he's done too much bad stuff at Ferrari, and seems to be doing all right, really. Cadillacs are crap, aren't they? I mean, they should do better. They have a Ferrari engine. Yeah. I think that they should do better, but you can't really expect a team that has never taken part in a Formula One race before. A lot of these engineers also haven't worked in Formula One before. They're coming from other motorsports. This is the pinnacle of motorsport at the end of the day. You can't expect them to hit the ground running and be getting pole positions and things like that. So, yes, they were one of the cars that did get lapped twice, I think, or maybe even 3 times in Australia, but they've already brought upgrades, right? They've already brought upgrades. They're taking on Sergio Perez's, Bottas's feedback. They, in fact, found in their simulator their steering wheel in the sim, through whatever reason, was offset by 5 millimeters, offset from the center. And I think Valtteri Bottas just found that in the sim. And I think obviously Bottas has spent a lot of time in the simulator. He sort of will pick up on this stuff very quickly. But if you had a younger driver, then maybe they wouldn't say something, or maybe they wouldn't realize. And it's just good to have the very experienced drivers with so many races under their belt, helping them out to improve and to get to grips with Formula One. Alright, RF is live now. Indeed it is. What's the new thing on the Ferrari Halo? It's literally just a mini little front wing, mini little rear wing, whatever you want to call it. It's just attached to the Halo to add extra downforce. So yeah, that's what they're doing there, really, to make the car go quicker through the corners. I'm just thinking Alonso can make it into Q2. Could be, could be. However, I do worry with this very long straight that they've got. I think that there's going to be a much more of a reliance towards your power unit compared to, your skill as a driver. Because, if you look at the racetrack, this sort of like the right side of it, you can make an impact as a driver, but then on the left side of it, it's all just down to your engine and your power unit and your aerodynamics, and that's not so great currently at Aston Martin. So it's a tough one, but I think he might actually, because I think what we're going to have is at least one more issue in Sprint Quali 1. I think someone's either going to crash or someone's going to have an engine problem. So I think, based off that regard, I think Alonso might be able to get through. Is Lindbergh going to qualify? I think he will. Yeah, I think he will. I haven't fully confirmed, but his issue was very, very early on in FP1, and he's only completed 6 laps. So the teams will have more than enough time to get the car back to the garage and figure out what the problem was and fix it. So. Right. F1 Gamer, there was a bit of hype for Williams this year, but now they aren't doing well. What do you think happened? Oh, that's a tough one to say, right? Because if I knew what happened, then I could just go to Williams and be like, oh, don't do X, Y, Z, and you'll be good for next year. But clearly, I think in terms of the overweight aspect of things, it is trying to be a little bit too over. I don't know. It's tough to say, isn't it? Essentially, when you're designing a Formula One car, right, you make your predictions. You basically have like an initial concept, and from this initial concept, you say, oh, I think that my floor is going to be this big, and it's going to be this heavy, and it's going to be made out of this carbon fiber, and my radiator is going to be this big, this heavy, this many tubes, this much water. And I think what happened down at Williams is that when they made all of these predictions and these calculations for the conceptual sort of 2026 car, maybe they were a little bit too sort of what's the best way to put it? A little bit too optimistic with regards to how things would turn out, and I think as a result that has ended up with them being a little bit overweight. Now they will have to work on that and try and get those things sorted. Oh, the data's having there we go. Okay, but that being said, right, it is still definitely possible that they can shave off weight and they can still bring the car down to the weight limit. So. Yeah, with the other things, they've got less resources than other people, so that's definitely a factor. But yeah, if I knew the answer, then I would be a Formula One team principal, right? Like it's yeah. Sorry, just got off work. Did they go into what was wrong with Carlos's car? Yes. Carlos's car had a telemetry issue. So with the telemetry, they weren't getting data. They couldn't connect to it or whatever. And they managed to resolve that. Carlos Sainz got some laps done in FP1. So all good in that regard. F1 Gamer, can you please sync up your sprint quality to the most early there is a little bit of a few seconds? I want to listen to your commentary while the cars go around. The best way to do it would be to either pause my coverage so it gets synced up, or you either pause whatever you're watching, like ORF or whatever it is, so the commentary is in sync, because you'll be able to use the timer at the top left on the clock to sync up my time and the races, your footage's time basically, because I can't obviously sync it up for everyone in the world. Everyone's got a slightly different delay and things like that, and depending on which country you are, you've got an extra 10-second delay or you've got 10 seconds less. So yeah. Cashew the Kitten, thanks for joining the channel membership, much appreciated. Okay, also folks, I did want to mention track temperature up at 30 degrees Celsius, so it's nice and toasty hot, and it seems like the temperature is getting warmer and warmer as the day goes by. So, well, warmer and warmer temperatures probably will mean that yeah, the Red Bull is going to struggle ever so slightly, given the fact that they overheat their tyres pretty quickly. Any info on how Newey's Aston work is going? Will they be soon showing some improvements? Well, this week is very, very similar to the situation that they had in Australia. It's only been, a week, and Honda haven't managed to get any upgrades out. They have barely repaired the batteries that got damaged in Australia. So it's been... Yeah, so their aim for this weekend, again, is just to try and finish the race. That is the aim. I think by the time Japan rolls around, they should have figured something out. Also, given that Japan is, Honda's home race, it would be very, very nice for them to have the engine mounts sort of sorted out, which means that then the vibrations are a whole lot less. But it's difficult. There's also the other thing is potentially with the conflict that's going on down in the Middle East right now, for the entirety of April we may not get a race, because on April the 12th we have the Bahrain GP. On April the 19th, we have the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Reportedly, I think Hadjar said to Antonelli in an airport or something, being like, "Oh, you've got 2 less races to win now," in referring to the fact that Bahrain and Saudi Arabia have been cancelled, which would give Aston Martin and give all of the teams one entire month, basically, of no Formula One, just to pump out as many upgrades as they possibly can. So I think Aston Martin will either have that information confirmed internally that either the race is going to happen or not, and their deadline will then be the following race, which would be the 3rd of April, and it would be in Miami, and that would be their sort of target to hit to get everything sorted out. Around mid-December, right before the last race, you said you might be doing some interviews with the F1 community/workers. Did you do that? Well, I have... I've got the number of the Mercedes engineer on my phone, right? But we just haven't worked out a date for us both to meet and to do a podcast episode. And I have also got in contact with someone who actually watches my streams, who is from Red Bull Racing, and they've done a lot of sort of the... They do a lot of sort of the strategy analysis after the race is finished as to what the team could have done better. Was there a different option to go with the strategy? Were our predictions correct? Is there anything we could improve for the next race and things like that? And so currently in contact with them as well. But yes, unfortunately, nothing is coming out as of the next week or anything like that. Yeah. But I do know a few other people, to be fair, I know, some people in McLaren and some people in Williams as well. So I might be able to sort that out. But it's a bit of a scheduling nightmare, really, with university, and then also given that Formula One engineers, are pretty busy. They work a lot of hours, and then when they're not working, they would like to sort of take a break from Formula One. So it is, it's a difficult thing, but at some point we'll get something scheduled. All right. Do you think Ferrari will ever leave Formula One? No. I think Ferrari will. Ferrari's a constant staple of Formula One, and it's unlikely that they're ever going to leave. Why is it called the Macarena Wing? Because Fred Vasseur called it that on one of the TV broadcasts, and the name stuck. You would be a great racing engineer, in my opinion. Well, thank you, Mr. Words Dealer. But to be fair, I think I could be a pretty decent race engineer. Would definitely need some sort of practical experience rather than just sort of commentating races. But I think while commentating, I'm looking at 5 different things, trying to figure out, who's doing what strategy and things like that. Which I guess is pretty similar to what goes on in a race engineer's job as well. So, who knows? Maybe F1 Gamer, the race engineer, or maybe F1 Gamer, the Sky Sports presenter. Who knows? What am I studying at university? I am studying mechanical engineering. In fact, someone recognised me as I was walking out the university building yesterday. Someone recognised me for being F1 Gamer and was like, "Oh, sir, I'll be watching it live tomorrow," which was interesting. Yeah, pretty cool. Second time actually. I've been sort of recognised in real life. Oh, brilliant team radio here from Isaac Hadjar. I guess that might be the current situation down at Red Bull, given that the track temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. Bro, how does that Surfshark VPN thing work? You essentially connect to an Austrian VPN server. You can do this with any VPN company, but Proton VPN is the one that sponsors me. And you join an Austrian VPN server. You go onto Google, you search ORF Formula 1, and you click on the first link, and it shows up. Right. What's my name? My name is Larry. Do you think the next regulations will go closer back to mechanical and driving, or they'll keep going down the Formula Electric road? I think that they will continue on with they will go back to the V8s. There's talks of it potentially going back to like V8s or V8s with sustainable fuel. So who knows? What's Ollie Behrman saying over the team radio? Actually, let's have a look. Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much to Ollie as well for driving that Haas guy, doing pretty well compared to Esteban Ocon actually. Right. So, yeah, 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Right, I'm going to move my webcam over to the top. Just 3 minutes to go. Yes, that is correct, Valtteri Bottas. Just 3 minutes to go. And we're going to get the cars out onto the track very, very soon. Do you think the quality of racing and driving will increase as the season progresses, with the team learning how to better manage deployment and recharging? Potentially, but I think also a lot of the action that we've got right now is because of the teams not knowing what's going on, and that means that the drivers are trying things on the fly. The teams are learning about what's good, what's not, and that mixes things up quite a lot. Whereas if everyone figures out the exact same strategy, right? Oh, it's always best to start recharging a battery 200 meters before the corner, then you get onto the brakes at 100 meters before the corner, then you downshift into third gear. And if everyone's doing the same thing, then it sort of equalizes the field a little bit, and it gets a little stale. So I would love to give you a perfect answer, but it could go either way, really. All right, the grandstands are looking very, very full out in China, to be fair, given that Guan Yu Zhou is not driving as well. That's the other thing. No Guan Yu Zhou this season, of course, but the Chinese fans are out there in full force, which is good to see. Okie dokes. Yeah, the racetrack in China, honestly, is pretty solid, I've got to say. Nice wide racetrack, really good grandstands everywhere for people to watch the race at. So, yeah, pretty A plus circuit. And Lewis Hamilton quite likes this racetrack as well, actually. So maybe he'll be able to do quite well and we'll see what you can do against Charles Leclerc. But we've got 5,000 here, people tuned in to the live stream. Much appreciated, folks. If you are enjoying the coverage, be sure to smash that like button and hit the subscribe button as well while you're there. We are 17 seconds away from the start of SQ1, and the drivers will be leaving the pit lane very soon. We've got a track temperature at 30 degrees, air temperature at 16.5 degrees, and a wind speed of 4 kilometers per hour, not gusting too hard. 0% rain on the forecast, and, well, the timer hits zero, the green light is open at the end of the pit lane, and we have got drivers out onto the track. Let's go, ladies and gents, let's go. Hadjar, Bottas and Verstappen make their way out. Is Ferrari using the new wing in QUALI? As far as I know, they are. A few people made some messages saying that they're not, but I have not seen anything regarding that. So, yeah. We'll see when they come out onto the racetrack. It'll be pretty obvious, you know, if the wing is flipping around like that. How many championships have you won in the F1 games? I didn't play a lot of career mode, to be fair. So everyone's out on medium tyres, as is to be expected, folks, because it is sprint quality after all. So the drivers do start on mediums. Oh, Sergio Perez's car. He is not taking part by the looks of it. He is not in the car. There's no wheels on the car. Issue for Sergio Perez. He is not taking part in Q1, ladies and gentlemen. And that is driver number 1 eliminated. So I guess I was correct. I said that one driver is not going to make it through due to some sort of problem, and Sergio Perez is one of them. Yeah, very unfortunate there for Sergio. Yeah, he's not in the car, and there's no mechanics around it. They're not even trying to fix it. I think they've sort of just abandoned it and said, "Oh, we're going to focus on Bottas for now. We'll figure out this car later." Is the Chinese racetrack used for other races besides F1, 2, 3? I don't think so. I don't even think Formula 2 or Formula 3 come here, right? So, I'm sure maybe in China they have their own domestic racing series and things like that. And also, in fact, BYD, the electric car company, were talking about joining Formula 1. So, you know, who knows? Maybe that could happen, and they'd be doing some testing work at this racetrack. But it'd be interesting to see, with the cars getting more and more battery heavy, what would BYD be able to do in Formula 1? Yeah, Formula 2, Formula 3 don't race here. Yeah, that's what I thought. But Formula E does, okay. Alright, folks, well, here we are then. So we have got Bottas, Hadjar, Verstappen all on their flying laps. Verstappen is going purple in sector number 1. He also goes second fastest in sector number 2, and we'll see what he does once he comes across the line, but it's looking pretty solid so far. Hadjar, however, does go a 10th quicker in sector 2. He's a 10th slower in sector 1, 10th quicker in sector 2. What can they do down the straights? What speeds are they going to be hitting? Max Verstappen hits 337 kilometers per hour before starting to clip. Oh my god, he starts to clip so early on, and it's now okay. Max Verstappen hit top speed at this point here. I predicted they're going to hit top speed here. Verstappen hits top speed here and then starts clipping down all the way till the hairpin. So 337 kilometers per hour. I know you guys can't see the speeds. I can't fit it on the screen, unfortunately. But I will, just report them to you as when needed. And you guys have also got the speed traps there at the bottom as well. Nico Hülkenberg, Gabriel Bortoleto, third and fourth for them, and they are, well, 10 seconds off the pace. It looks like they were doing a warm-up lap to bring those tyres up to temperature. I would like to remind you guys, this track was resurfaced last year, and when it got resurfaced, it was a whole lot smoother than it previously was, which means that it takes the tyres a little bit longer to warm up, and especially them being medium tyres, it takes a little while, even though track temperature is 29 degrees Celsius. We got purple sector 1 from Charles Leclerc, purple second sector from Lewis Hamilton, and well, here come the drivers, then here come the Ferraris. Across the line comes Charles Leclerc, and that is P1 by 0.2 of a second. Let's see what Lewis Hamilton can do. It looks like he's getting a nice little tow here from Franco Colapinto. Very, very close indeed, and he backs out of it, oh no, the GPS breaks, but he gets a very nice tow out the final corner, and it's P1. P1 by half a second. Where does he gain all of that time? He gains it mainly in the middle sector. He goes half a second quicker than Leclerc in the middle sector. Wow. Both Astons on the track is a miracle. Yeah, sort of crazy really to see both Astons on there. All right. Where are the Mercs and what are they up to? We've got Antonelli and Russell starting flying laps. We've got Stroll with a lap time deleted. Hulkenberg improves up into second. Hulkenberg improves into second. What? Great job there from Nico Hulkenberg. Bortoleto is into sixth as well, but second position there. He goes quicker than Charles Leclerc. And there you go. Stroll's lap time gets deleted. He gets dropped down into P21. We've got Esteban Ocon up into 6th position. Other thing, folks, track evolution is going to be pretty key. As we mentioned, there isn't much racing that goes on here apart from Formula 1 and Formula E, which means, especially this weekend, there's no Formula 2 or Formula 3 to help with the track rubbering in and things like that. So we've still got track evolution to look out for, and the track getting quicker and quicker as the days go, well, as the time goes on. I will keep an eye out on the top speed and what top speed Hulkenberg is doing down the back straight. Piastri is hitting 329, so a little bit slower, I think, Piastri down the straight compared to the others. The other thing will be what the Mercs are doing. Okay, all right, here's Russell and Antonelli going down the straights. What are they going to do? So they're up to 300 for Antonelli, 304, and Russell also holding 300 exactly. It's like they've got cruise control on at 304, and unless the GPS is broken, which it doesn't look like it is, they are holding cruise control at 304 and 300 kilometers respectively. Are they doing a slow lap or something? Like, what's going on? We've got Max going up to 337. Antonelli holds cruise control at 304 and is still second fastest. Russell holds 300 cruise control at 300 and is in first position. What? I mean, okay, I don't fully trust the GPS numbers. We'll wait for the speed trap to come through. But yeah, they were holding 300. Oh no, okay. It says Russell and Ante were doing 318, 314. So I think the speed trap numbers, the speed that I'm reading here, the live speed might be incorrect because it says they were going quicker. Either way, they're a rocket ship down the straight line, in a straight line, and P1 too. They're still sandbagging. I did see some reports that they are still sandbagging. Okay, let's see what Hamilton does then. Hamilton, Ferrari-powered car. I think he's got the Macarena wing, as far as I can tell. And he's making his way down the straight. And what's it? 337 for Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, 337. He starts clipping. And Charles Leclerc up into second position there, not too shabby. He's, 4/10 back from George Russell, and Lewis Hamilton's looking pretty quick, actually. So here he is, coming out of the final corner. What's it going to be for Lewis Hamilton? Across the line he goes. He goes ahead of Charles Leclerc by about 3/10 of a second, and he's only 1/10 back from George Russell. So are the Ferrari still in contention? Who knows? F1 Academy races it. Okay, yeah, I guess F1 Academy races everywhere are Formula 1 races, but they don't. Their tires do not wear out anywhere near as fast as the Formula 1 cars, so they don't significantly contribute to the rubbering in. No, they don't have the Macarena wing. Okay, fair enough. I guess I should probably get rid of this bit then. Yeah. 2 minutes and 33 seconds remain. Currently in the drop zone, we have got Alex Albon, Franco Colapinto, Lance Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Valtteri Bottas, and Sergio Perez. How long is SQ2? I think it's gonna be 10 minutes. Yeah. Track is ramping up. Indeed, it is. It's definitely getting slightly quicker, and track temperature's actually dropped now to 28, so that will help as well. All right. Bortoletto goes very, very wide at the final corner, but manages to keep it going. 14th position there for him, and Max and Hadjar 8th and 11th. That's a lot of work to do for the Red Bull team. A lot of work to do. How long is the time between Q1 and Q2? It's about 4 minutes, I think. Yeah, it's nothing major. Alright then, folks, so here we go. What else have we got to talk about? We got a lot of people now either on flying laps or about to start flying laps. So here come Hadjar and Verstappen. It's 8th for Verstappen as of this current moment in time, 11th for Hadjar. Where can the Frenchman find himself after he comes across the line? He does not improve. Isaac Hadjar goes fractions of milliseconds slower and does not improve. Max Verstappen does improve, but he only holds it in 8th. What is going on there? Yeah, how has that happened? Interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Okie dokes. And we got Ocon up into 8th, pushing Verstappen down into 9th. We got Lawson up into 9th, quicker than Verstappen. Wait. Lawson in the Racing Bull is quicker than both Red Bulls. Arvin Lindblad, after only doing 6 laps of practice in the Racing Bulls, he's never driven at the Shanghai International Circuit before, and he is in 13th position, only a fraction of a second back from Isaac Hadjar. What is going on with the Red Bull car? I don't know. They've definitely messed up the setup somewhere there. We've got Gasly up into 7th position. Franco Colapinto nearly double that in 15th. You know, he is so much further back. And Sainz improves, but not enough to get out of Q1. We got Alex Albon now coming across the line. We'll see what he can do. 2.2 seconds off the pace he was on off the previous lap. He now comes across the line. He goes slower, and that is Alex Albon's qualifying over. Same thing can be said for Alonso, Stroll, and Bottas. And that is game over, folks. Game over for the Williams, the Aston Martin, and the Cadillacs, the 3 slowest teams of the grid as of right now in Formula 1. Gabriel Bortoletto comes across the line, 13th position for him, not too shabby. Right. Am I going to go live for all of the races? Indeed I am. But look, folks, the gap between the Ferraris and the Mercedes isn't that big right now. It's SQ1, right? So it's not the soft tyres just yet. We haven't got all of the stuff, but it's not looking too bad. It's not looking too bad for the Ferraris right now, especially compared to Australia. Also, folks, if you have any other like button, be sure to do so. That would very much be appreciated. Hopefully, we can make our way to a few more likes and potentially 2,000 likes. That'd be brilliant. But yeah. Bro, forgot to ask. Did you get the job? If so, where and when? I did get the job, actually. I did get the job. The one that I interviewed for a while ago, and I haven't confirmed if I can say where or when, and that sort of thing. Because yeah, I mean, companies have their policies about what you are and aren't allowed to say. But yeah, after a lot of applications, after 65 applications, I've ended up with a job. So pretty good. But anyway, that's the end of Q1, and now we are going into Q2, which is going to have the top 16 cars on the grid. What major am I? Mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering. Mm-hmm. Okie dokes. Thank you, everyone that's saying congratulations in the chat. Very much appreciated. Um, Radio engineer of the drivers, probably. Well, there is one thing. I will carry on streaming, especially on the weekends. I can't guarantee Fridays, because obviously, work is Monday to Friday, but I can definitely guarantee that on the weekends I'll be there and I'll be commentating. All right. So, is this really surprise what we see from who's been eliminated and by what margin? Not really. Not really. You can see Alonso is about half a second quicker than Stroll, to be expected. We've got Bottas, well, Cadillac being the slowest, fair enough, right? They've still got a lot of work to do and a lot of improvements to make. Williams are overweight, so, three big teams, three big issues, and yeah, they've got to solve them if they don't want to be at the back of the pack. Someone said Red Bull is their benchmark. Yeah, yeah. When did Toto Wolff say that? Toto Wolff. I could definitely roll this back 1 month, and Toto Wolff was like, "Oh, Red Bull are our benchmark. They seem to be the quickest team on the circuit right now." Honestly, that's what I'm saying. The sandbagging is so real. F1 Gamer, why does the dot just after they arrived up fly up the pit lane? Because the GPS I don't think tracks the pit lane exactly. I think it just detects that it's in the pit lane and then we'll just move them in. But it's a bit of an odd system, to be fair. Generational sandbag from the Mercs, indeed. Yeah, Toto Wolff has it printed out. He has it printed out that that the Red Bull are the benchmark. SQ2 starts in literally 1 minute. So just hang on in there, folks. Hang on in there. We'll be getting underway. Also, if you do want to watch the coverage, want to see the actual cars go around on the racetrack, the best way to do that is using Proton VPN. So there's a link in the description, there's a link in the chat. For $1 a month, you'll be able to get the Proton VPN. You connect to an Austrian VPN server, you go into Google, you type RF Formula One, and you can watch the coverage. So that's how that works, which is pretty handy to say the least. It's a lot cheaper than Sky Sports and things like that. So if you guys are interested, check that out. Okay. Yo, this track suits the Ferrari engine cars. Does it? I guess so. Haas are doing pretty well. So, I guess Haas is the only other Ferrari-powered car that isn't Cadillac, and Cadillac are clearly not doing so great. So, tough to say though. I think Audi. Actually, folks, I have a question for you guys. Who do you think is going to score more points? Will it be Audi or will it be Haas? This is my question, right? Audi or Haas? Because Haas are, they've typically, when Ferrari does well, Haas by default does very, very well. But Audi, they're a new contender into the sport. They've got their new engine and their reliability looks pretty reasonably good. And we've got a nearly 50-50 here between Haas and Audi. I think I'm going to put a poll out and we'll see what you guys have got to say. Haas or Audi, but Okay, dokes. Yeah, look, 51% Audi, 49% Haas. Oh, very, very close there. Okay, okay. All right, green light, folks. Pit lane exit is open. You can see the timer is ticking down there. 9 minutes 55, and we have got the cars exiting the pits. Very good, very nice. It's too close to call. Too close to call. Yeah. I guess I can pose the pretty good question there. So, I mean, you know, for you folks that have voted Haas, like, why do you think it's going to be Haas? Why do you think they're going to be Audi? And obviously, for the other people that voted Audi, why do you think Audi will be beating Haas? I think, look, with the Audi, I think they have their own sort of scope of development, whereas I think Haas is sort of bound to be like not a B team to Ferrari, of course, because they're not that like directly linked. But I think that you'll never see a time where Haas are making huge leaps forward if Ferrari aren't making the huge leaps forward. But Toyota Gazoo Racing have got a lot of knowledge in motorsport, a lot of experience. So, you know, that partnership could bring them closer, could allow them to make those big performance jumps. Audi have got a lot of financial backing. They've also got the knowledge from the Sauber engineers that have been in Formula One for ages. So, who knows? Who knows? We've got people saying reliability. We got Hulkenberg better than Ocon because of Behrman. Yeah, that's also a good point, right? SQ2 is only 10 minutes long. That is correct. SQ3 is only going to be 8 minutes long. Okay. Max is getting knocked out, is he? Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see. Okie dokes. Much appreciated though, folks. Hope you're all enjoying the coverage. And I will be live for the sprint race tomorrow. And I will also be live for the what's it called? For the actual race as well. Yeah. For the actual race, I'll be there. There we go. It's 50-50 exactly. Wow. Thank you everyone for voting. Good to see Colapinto not getting knocked out during SQ1. Yeah, to be fair, he did alright to make it through, but him compared to Gasly is they are miles apart. Drivers still out on medium tyres. They're fresh sets of mediums, but still mediums, as we are still in sprint quali, not actual quali. Alright. So we've got at the front of the queue, I'm pretty sure. Oh my goodness me, Ollie Behrman, 24.6 in the middle sector, in the first sector. Sorry, very nice, very nice. Yeah, going a reasonable amount quicker than the Audis, but then Gasly actually goes takes the purple for this sector. So, and it looks like McLaren are on warm-up laps. So McLaren are 4 seconds off the pace in the first sector. They are 2 seconds off the pace in the middle sector. So yeah, it looks like they're doing a warm-up lap to bring everything up to temperature before they go. Are Ferrari using the flip wing? They are not. They are not. No Macarena, folks. No Macarena. However, I think I am going to play some Macarena in my headphones, to be honest. It's just a bit of a certified banger. And hence, it's got to... You gotta listen to it. You gotta listen to it. Macarena slowed plus reverb. Oh, I forgot I had tea. Okay, Ollie Behrman, top of the times, 133.999. Charles Leclerc, purple in the first sector. He goes quicker than for Mercedes. Charles Leclerc is back, ladies and gentlemen. So is Ferrari. They don't need the Macarena rear wing. They just need full send. And Charles Leclerc is most certainly doing that. Wow, the car looks very, very stable as well. Like it's... Leclerc will ask it to turn, and it will turn and just go. So, yeah, some good things there from the Ferrari team. And Charles Leclerc in the middle sector, purple again. Oh, second fastest in the middle sector. Full send, all risk. Well, Charles Leclerc, it doesn't look like he's taking much risk, because that Ferrari looks very, very planted. They have brought a few minor tweaks here and there, have the Ferrari team, but it seems like things are working out well for them. Yeah, they've got that little scoop or little wing that they've got on the halo as well. So deflecting air away from the driver's helmet, adding a little bit of downforce as well. And well, here comes Charles Leclerc then. He across the line, and it is P1. However, Russell has now just taken the quickest first and second sectors away from Charles Leclerc. And well, the Ferrari cycle is back, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Ferrari 1-2. However, I just know for a fact, as soon as Antonelli and Russell come across the line, that is going to change. So I'm just gonna leave this here for a sec. And Piastri splits the two Ferraris. Very nice. I mean, to be fair, the gap between Leclerc and Hamilton, 0.7 of a second. Norris, in fact, goes there. You got the McLarens in a Ferrari sandwich, but Antonelli 32 milliseconds up on Charles Leclerc. The margin isn't so big there, but with George Russell, Mr. Saturday, and it's not even Saturday, it's Friday today, but he comes across the line and he's 0.3 clear over his teammate Kimi Antonelli, and the Ferrari cycle is as true as ever. Oh. But to be fair, does it matter? Does it matter for the Ferrari team? Because Charles Leclerc is just going to get an incredible launch anyway, right? Incredible launch. I would also like to confirm, from the starting grid, which is going to be around about here, all the way into the apex of turn number 1, there is 310 meters. 310 meters for Charles Leclerc to just say, see you later, I'll see you guys at the end of the race. Which will be interesting. Norris over the radio complaining about getting blocked. Antonelli was in the way. Ooh, that might be a penalty, to be honest. That was a pretty clear block there from Kimi Antonelli, and Norris was going to go on a push lap. We'll see what gets dished out for that one there for Antonelli. Alright, Ferrari don't need to upgrade the car, they need to upgrade the strategy. Yeah, maybe they could have won Australia if they had slightly better strategy. It's, again, just a little bit too tough to tell. It's always if, but, and, well, we know how that goes, doesn't it? Alright. Is it true that this track is a tyre killer? It is very brutal on the tyres. I do have to agree with you on that one. I will, in fact, just take you through a flying lap of the circuit. In fact, let's sync this up with someone, actually. Give me just a second. So, the lap times, of course, won't be exactly synced, but let's go with, I think, Norris on a flying lap. Okay, so let's just skip forward a little bit. You're going in towards turn number 1, right? Super duper late onto the brakes, and try to get the engine braking to slow you down. That's what we had in previous years. Now we've got the battery regen system to try and slow you down as you go through there. Then hug the inside line through turn number 4. Don't touch the grass, obviously, like I did, but you go along the inside line of turn 4 through 5. You know, you got the straight mode here, onto the brakes for turn number 6, and you hit that apex, get onto the power as soon as you possibly can, because you're flat through 7 and 8 actually, which means that your exit out of 6 is pretty important, and you have a tiny little lift, and then you flick the car and you hold it in. It's quite difficult, this sort of change in direction, going right then left, and then onto the brakes, and then left again, and then onto the throttle and left again. It is a true sort of test of how stable a car is in these medium speed, high speed corners, and the Ferrari does look good. To be fair, quite a lot of the other cars also look good. They are quite grippy at the end of the day, and this is where your front left tyre really feels the pain. Going through turn number 1, your front left tyre hurts a lot, but then going through turn number 11 at much higher speeds, it's even more, it's even worse. So, and then you've got this very long straight where the drivers start clipping, of course. You get onto the brakes for turn number 16 and, sorry, turn number 14, and then you make your way through turns number 16, which is the final corner, and that is the end of the lap. Just stay away from the gravel trap on the exit and you'll be A-okay. Alright, quite a few drivers improving, but their position staying relatively similar. Piastri goes ahead of Hamilton, and we've got Antonelli staying in second position with a purple final sector. Behrman improves up into 7th position. Currently in the drop zone, we have got Hulkenberg, Ocon, Bortoletto, Lawson, Lindblad, and Colapinto. Alrighty. Brilliant. Max needs to lock in. I mean, it's 9th position there. It's not so good, is it? Okay. Franco Colapinto, first driver to take the checkered flag. 16th position for him. He's knocked out. Liam Lawson also takes the checkered flag. He's also knocked out. Arvin Lindblad fails to improve. He's also knocked out. I think we've got Bortoletto. Is he on a flyer? No, he's not. Bortoletto also confirmed knocked out of QUALI. Ocon doesn't improve. He's also knocked out. And Hulkenberg is also knocked out. So those 6 drivers are eliminated, and our top 10 have got both of the Mercedes, both of the Ferraris, both of the McLarens, both of the Red Bulls, and the 2 additional drivers that we have got are Pierre Gasly and Oliver Behrman. Yeah. It's pretty good. Ocon is getting beaten by Ollie Behrman, actually, quite consistently last year, and it's continuing on into this year as well. Alright, but yeah, Mercedes 1-2 at the top. Why don't you use a mic stand? Because I quite like holding a mic, to be fair. So that's why I hold it. To be fair, and normally, when I switch hands from one hand to another, you used to be able to hear a lot of stuff from me switching hands, but now I've sort of just got so smooth with it. There's no sort of negative to that either, so yeah. Also, folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Would much be appreciated. But yeah, we are now going to be about, what did I say, 3, let me have a look at the clock actually, we're going to be about 5 minutes or 4 minutes away from the start of SQ3. Talk about Alpine. Is a team radio meant to update? Yeah, the team radio's glitched out, unfortunately, folks. I would love to have it not be glitched out, but it's just how these things go. Sometimes it works, sometimes they don't, so... But what was I going to say? Talk about the Alpines. Well, it's again, it's a duplicate of what we saw in Q1. Gasly made it up into 7th position. Colapinto was in 15th in Q1, and now he's in 16th. Right, like it is what it is. Gasly is just nearly an entire second faster than Franco Colapinto is. So yeah, if Alpine want to become a serious team, they should probably hire a serious driver. All right. Do you think Bahrain and Saudi F1 will go ahead? Well, compared to, basically, according to someone that was sat next to Hadjar and Antonelli in the airport, Hadjar said to Antonelli, "Oh, you've got 2 less races to win this year," referring to supposedly the Bahrain Grand Prix and the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix getting cancelled. So they may get cancelled. We may have another replacement race. I don't know. Maybe they will do 2 races in Japan. So that could be a possibility. If you guys remember back to 2020, we had duplicate races. We had 2 races in Austria with the Austrian Grand Prix and the Styrian Grand Prix. And then we had the British Grand Prix and the 70th anniversary Grand Prix. We had the Bahrain Grand Prix and the Sakhir Grand Prix. So they could do something similar at Suzuka potentially, and maybe get a different racetrack as well. Who knows? Alright folks, it's going to be the soft tyres, so just to confirm, in Sprint Quali 3 we will have these soft tyres available to use, and, well, it's going to be mega. It's going to be absolutely mega. No Macarena wing, folks, no Macarena wing for the Ferrari team. Alright. What are the yellow and the blue stripes? Blue means you come in or out of the pit lane, so everyone's in the pit, so that's why they've got blue here. And you have then got... What else have you got? Your yellow is slower than personal best, green is your personal best, and purple is fastest out of anyone. Why no radio communication? The radio communication is broken. It's woken, as Lando Norris might say. But yeah, pretty standard stuff for the FIA. Not much that we can do. When is Q3? Q3 is starting in, I think, in 2 minutes' time. So, or 1 minute and 50 seconds or something like that, right? Oh, well, there you go. The data's started to refresh as well. Brilliant. How to watch the F1 using the VPN? It is using ORF. It's this. You go into Google, you search ORF after you've connected to an Austrian VPN server. All right, folks. So, question for you guys: how big is the gap going to be between Max Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar? Because of course in Australia, Verstappen crashed out in Q1 and we didn't get to see sort of what he would be able to do right at the end of quali. So what is the difference that we're going to see between Max and Hadjar? 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 0/0, identical? What's going on there? We've got pit lane exit open, so there we go, folks. The qualifying is underway, and the drivers are making their way out. Well, they're not making their way out onto the circuit. I think most people have said 3/10. Most 3/10, 2/10. Fair enough. But we've got the drivers waiting in the pit lane with only 8 minutes left on the clock. China being quite a long circuit, they're unable to do an outlap, flying lap, in lap, and then repeat that twice. So we may just see the teams just do one run, or maybe they'll do 2 runs, but on the same set of tyre. It is a little bit tight for time, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I reckon we could see Algarve round 4. I would quite like to see the Algarve racetrack. It's an incredible racetrack. It's just got these really what's the right word? Undulations. It's got these undulations through all of its corners, and feels like a roller coaster. Watching all the onboards is great. It might be a little bit bad for racing, but let's see what the new cars can do in these sort of situation. Okie dokes. Let's see then. What's it going to be for... So Antonelli, Russell, Verstappen, Leclerc and Hamilton out onto the track. So that is the top 5. The bottom 5 still in the garage. So interesting strategy. We'll see how this works out for them and who's sort of going to do what. Yeah, Nico Hulkenberg got knocked out by such a fine margin, I've got to say. But, Formula 1 at the end of the day is about these fine margins. So, but, you'll start the race in 11th, right? It's not going to be that bad. Okie dokes. So let's go on board with Kimi Antonelli, taking this very, very wide line through turns number 1 and 2, and then cuts back in sharply through turn number 3 and 4. And he makes his way now towards turn 7. And honestly, this man is flying. He is looking pretty good. The car looks stable. He's very smooth on the steering wheel, and well, things are looking good. Okay. First sector, Antonelli is 4 milliseconds slower than Russell. It is super duper fine margins. Lewis Hamilton goes about, half a tenth back from the Mercedes in the first sector. So it's very, very close there in that regard. In the first sector, we'll see what the middle sector is looking like. But we've got the top speeds here, actually. Russell, 327. And it looks like he's holding 324 quite consistently. Max Verstappen, on the other hand, gets up to... Oh, sorry, let's watch Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc, 328, and then he dips down a little bit further than 324. So I guess just more battery down the back straight. Either way, Russell across the line, it's a 131.5. He is 3.5 tenths ahead of his teammate. Max 1.7 seconds back. Wait. There's got to be some sort of mistake. Charles Leclerc 1.2 seconds back. What? I thought there was some mistake, but where has all of this lap time come from? What? Okay, Hamilton is 6 tenths back. Where has all of the lap time gone? This makes no sense. I mean, I guess it's in the second and the third sectors. They just have way more deployment, way more speed. We'll watch the replays and we'll see what replay, if there's any mistakes from any of the cars or anything like this. But 1.2 seconds to Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. I guess Leclerc must have made a mistake somewhere if Hamilton was only 6 tenths ahead of him, because they're both in the same cars. Hamilton has a little drift coming out of turn 15, but it's nothing that major. Yeah, he lost probably, I'd say like half a tenth max, like nothing that significant. Probably, yeah. Well, look, folks, it doesn't matter if Ferrari don't get pole position because they're going to overtake the Mercedes off the race start anyway, aren't they? Okay, well, we'll see what the McLarens can do now. Yeah. Yeah, what is going on, man? This is mental. How is the gap that big? Okay, we've got a few more drivers now starting their laps. George Russell's on another flyer, actually. Wait, no way Russell did that with 2 laps of fuel in the car. George Russell went 1.7 seconds quicker than Max Verstappen, and he also had 2 laps of fuel in the car. Okay. He's into the 1 minute 30... Okay, you know what? Respect. The boys back at Brackley have done a brilliant job, and it is an absolute rocket ship. And we'll see what the McLarens can do. Have they figured out the sort of the software tricks that Mercedes have got? Have Alpine figured them out? Okay, let's have a look. Antonelli, what speed is he doing down the straight? Antonelli holds 323. Yeah, it looks like he holds 323, like he's on cruise control. And Russell doing the same thing, 326. So basically, this is what's happening, right? Max Verstappen, yeah. Okay, this is exactly what's happening. So from this point onwards in the straight, Max Verstappen, his speed is constantly decreasing. It's going slower and slower. And Whereas Russell and Antonelli both hold cruise control. It's like cruise control on your car, right? And they've got 323 kilometers per hour set, and they just hold it for the entire length of the straight, and everyone else is slowing down. So that's why they're so much quicker. However, folks, there's a little bit of a hope here. There's a little bit of a hope. McLaren's purple in Sector 1. They're both fastest in the first sector from Piastri and Norris. Only by very fine margins, but, it's a step in the right direction. Let's see what Norris does. He has also got this power unit that Mercedes has got. He's holding 314 on cruise control. Okay, so 314 for Norris. And Oscar Piastri, he accelerates up to 329. And then what is he holding? He also holds 314. So now, Piastri and Norris, with the Mercedes power unit, are holding the same speed, just like Russell were, whereas Ferrari and Verstappen, their speeds are dropping off towards the end of the straight. The McLaren and the Mercedes can hold it constant. And Piastri across the line, 5th position there for him. The gap is still huge, mind you, and Pierre Gasly is in 7th, but a bit of insight there into what the drivers are doing and how they're getting so much more lap time in the final sector. I mean, look at Russell's final sector. He's the only driver in the 39s. All right, well, that is... I think that is it, unless no one else is on a flying lap, which it doesn't look like they are. The timer has hit 0, and the drivers that we've got on pole position, it's Mercedes 1-2, as expected, sort of. The gap has gone down from 0.8 of a second to now down to 0.6 of a second. However, if you do look to, I guess it's gone down to 0.6 of a second from Norris and from Hamilton. Leclerc and Piastri neither getting great laps in, and being behind the teammates. We've got Gasly ahead of Max Verstappen, which is mental to say. We've got Behrman ahead of Isaac Hadjar, which is again mental to say. But Red Bull have really dropped off. But we'll see. We'll see what can Hamilton do off the line. 4th position. He could find himself up in P1. That's what Charles Leclerc did, right? Charles Leclerc, it was P1, Russell, P2, Antonelli, P3, Hadjar, and Leclerc went from 4th to 1st in the space of, the first corner. So, Lewis Hamilton has got 310 metres from the start-finish line to, from the grid positions to turn number 1. But... that is that. So it's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. There is a link there, as you can see, to the sprint race stream. If you guys could hit the like button, hit the reminder button, that'd be much, much appreciated. So I'll be commentating for that in probably, I think it's going to be like 20 hours time or something like this. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed the coverage, and have a nice morning, day, afternoon, or evening, depending on wherever you are in the world. And it will be good to see you guys around for the sprint race, because I don't think it's going to be one and done. I think Hamilton's going to find himself up in P1, and then it's going to be Lewis Hamilton versus George Russell, which should be pretty nice and exciting. I do have to say, though, the gap for the Red Bull is truly huge, and I think partially that is down to the fact that they overheat their tyres so quickly, which then means that Verstappen and Hadjar both overheat their tyres, and they can't push for the entire duration of the lap, whereas everyone else can push. Verstappen and Hadjar not only are managing the battery, but they're also managing the tyres, which obviously is, going to make you slower. Whereas on the medium tyres, that wasn't so much of an issue because you're not as likely to overheat the mediums. Yeah. So that is that, folks. I think that is that. I will see you guys all for the sprint race tomorrow. Yeah. Okie dokes. So I think that's all from me. Is there anything else to say? Yeah, no. It'll end, when I end the stream, I'll take you over to the sprint race stream. Just hit the like button on the sprint race stream, and also hit the reminder button. And that's all from me. So yeah, pleasure commentating, you guys. See you for the sprint race tomorrow, and for the qualifying as well after that. Bye bye.